welcome to episode 7 of season 2 of Straighten Your Crown. Today we are talking about defining your target market and really understanding who it is that you want to buy your product or service. So which one of you lovely ladies would like to talk about that first?
I always think it's good to start with you because otherwise I just
you've
don't
got time
shut
to
up.
think about
Well, then
it.
I just don't shut up, you know?
That was a very formal introduction, wasn't
Good
it?
job, mate.
I've been working on it. Thank you for pointing it out.
So awesome. You want to start with me?
I can start.
Yeah,
So I think
you start. I feel that I've started a
This
lot.
is actually a really big question, and we probably should have said this at the beginning of the season. But you know what? We're not all starting a business right this second. You know what I mean? This one is really important before you even start planning what you're selling. In regards to a marketing standpoint, this is going, I'm just like rolling my sleeves up as I talk. This is actually going to define a lot of things for you when it comes to the behind the scenes stuff. So working out who your customer is. What their buying habits are, and what they need. Yeah. So say if your audience is you want to offer something for women who've just had a baby. I don't know, like nipple cream.
Yep, right.
You want to offer some nipple cream to, you know, post mums and whatever that is. I love it.
Postpartum.
Thank you so
I love
much.
how you picked.
I love how I picked a topic. I really know a lot about nipple cream as a woman who's never had a child. So say that's what your product is.
Mm-hmm.
Your audience is obviously a very specific audience. You wouldn't be advertising to men
Over 50.
Over 50s, or even like you wouldn't really be advertising to the younger audience, as in like under 25. Because you want to be kind of capping that 25 to 35 mark. Even though you will have customers under that, you will
That's
have
not
customers
your target.
above that.
Yeah.
Your target market has to be specific because that's where you're going to actually get a lot of your data from. And the reason you want to work that out at the beginning is you don't want to be advertising to the wrong people. You don't want to be wasting budget targeting people who are in the wrong area. Even us, for instance, I do not target men. We're not in a position either where we target overseas. We target Australia, New Zealand, 25 to 45, and people who are within, you know, are in who look at things that are a plus size, people who are wanting quality, are happy to pay for a quality product, people who also don't just want that fast fashion. We have a very specific target market. And in regards to us, like we don't really go, okay, well, they have to be professional or they have to be a single mom or they have to be like, no, it's pretty much like all women who want quality pieces who that are actually going to fit them correctly. And you'll see that that's our target market even by going onto our website. So for instance, I model because I'm a size large, meaning we have 2 sizes smaller and 2 sizes bigger. That's extremely important because as soon as you jump on our site, even if you don't know us, you straight away go, okay, cool, this is actually like plus size, or I hate using that word, but it's body inclusive, it's size inclusive, you know what I mean? It's very important to understand that because you're going to be talking to your audience straight away. And if you start selling something and you don't really know who your target market is, then even your branding, your colors, your font is all going to be made just because you like it versus what that target market likes.
Can I jump in there and say as well, I think a lot of people when they're starting a business, they think that they need to be everything to everyone.
No.
So they try and start this business where they go, okay, well, I don't want to exclude males and I don't want to exclude, women that are 19 and I don't want to exclude this and I don't want to exclude that. And then you find yourself in a position where you've got no niche at all. You're not targeting anything. And, to advertise whatever product or service it is, you're just literally throwing out to, social media.
You're doing flood marketing. Yeah, so if you don't have a target market like Kristy was saying, and you then start doing flood marketing, which flood marketing is just not working anymore. Even in regards to Facebook marketing, you just can't flood anymore because there's just too many people in the world that you would literally just be wasting budgets on. And you don't want to be wasting, I'm talking like, $20 a day flood marketing to the wrong people. That's $20 you're taking out of your budget and you're not getting any sales for. You know what I mean? And then when your budget starts getting more and you keep flood marketing, then you're just not getting it to the place you want. The reason also in regards to a marketing standpoint, and when I say marketing, I mean Facebook advertising or Google advertising or actually spending budget, if you start advertising to the wrong people, one of the biggest things that really work well is boosting posts. So boosting posts to your audience plus their friends. If your audience is all the wrong people and then you boost to your audience plus their friends, you just keep finding all the wrong people
that are wrong people.
Exactly. So it's really important to figure out who your target market is before you start advertising, before you start doing branding, before you start doing anything.
Can I just, on that, really funny, I've heard other businesses before, you've probably heard this because, and I'm letting Brittany talk all of the time because it's all marketing, that's all you. Have you heard all those businesses out there where people just do flood marketing and then they end up flood marketing to people that are overseas, you know, like whether it be countries like, you know, Asia or India or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And particularly males that, you know, want to look at, you know, the pretty girls in the dresses or the pretty girls in swimwear and all of those kind of things. And then, yeah, they end up with this whole audience where they're targeting those men and then they market to like audiences like that and they literally end up just paying for all of their money to go overseas.
Yeah,
100%. I've heard it so many times before.
It happens
it's
all the
so
time.
bad.
I think that's the thing that, like, looking and helping other businesses and looking into that side of things, it's the first place I look. I go, okay, who are the people you've currently got? Shit, you've got all the wrong people. Awesome. These, like you say,
let's not advertise to other people like those shit.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like if customers come to, or not customers, sorry, if I had a client come to me and say, oh, I need, my target audience is this, and this. Okay, perfect. And then I look to see who their current people who like their page, and all of the time, it's always the wrong people. So it's really important to know who your audience is and only pay to target to them. Don't worry about anybody else. The rest will come. It will come organically.
And don't be everything to everyone. You don't have to be everything to everyone.
Yeah. Know your niche. And I think we spoke about this in, I think it was episode 4. Quote me, I'm not quite sure. Episode 4, we were talking about understanding your products, why, and then advertising that why. That's another one that really comes into play with your target market. Because if you have a product that is super expensive and it's for women who women between the ages of 25 to 45 and then you start targeting to, you know, I don't know, people who don't have the budget to afford this. Okay, I'm going to give you a perfect example. There's this face mask I want to buy. It's like Iron Man style, and it's got red.
I actually thought that you were just talking about like a COVID mask. Like I thought that you were talking about one that you would go to the shop, but now I realize it's for your skin, isn't it?
It's for your skin. It's like a big headpiece that you, like a face mask that you wear, and it's got LED lights in it, and it's $800. It's very expensive. Now, their target market is people who can afford that product.
Well, it's definitely people with jobs.
People who have jobs, people who are really obsessed with their skincare. They think that's a necessary purchase, like myself, obviously.
Who kind of people are they?
But even me, like I can't afford to spend that kind of money on that kind of product, so it's something that I have to save up for. So they understand that with their target market, it's one of those, it's a one-time purchase. It's not a multiple purchase. So they put a higher price point on that product, knowing they're only going to sell one per customer, and then their targeting is to make sure that they're targeting to people who are engaged shoppers, people who obviously have a higher income, because someone who doesn't have a higher income, you can't justify spending that much on a face mask, you know what I mean? So it's really important to know straight away. Even their branding is very bougie, you know what I mean? It's very, it even looks a little bit medical, because they want it to look like, you know,
so they're kind of advertising to professionals, like professionals that maybe have money. They're not advertising to, say, somebody who's 18, you know.
So the colours aren't pink and purple with like crazy cute colours and crazy fonts and stuff like that. It's very, what's the word? Sophisticated. It's very it's very simple and classy. So yeah, it's really important to know that before you start wasting money on things. Just because you like it doesn't mean it's actually going to engage with your audience. Another really big one is understanding color marketing. And I know this is crazy. Sorry,
I could about this. So
color marketing is cool. So for instance, yellow and red makes people hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, McDonald's, Hungry Jack's, yellow and red.
And blue makes people trust you, apparently. And green is like greed. So don't put,
green
with,
is greed.
With notes all over the place in coins.
Red means red is like sense of urgency. So like if you're ever doing a sale, a red button is like, oh, it's red. Red's like something of urgency. But in regards to offering a luxury brand, colors that work really well are navy, gold, what was it, emerald green, because it's like this kind of colors, like those more deep, lush colors are really, really good for showing yourself as a classy, expensive brand. Even fonts can say different things about your brands as well. So
we don't use Comic Sans for everything, no?
No, and even like
Roman, Helvetica.
Even letter spacing is a massive one. So all of our lettering on our website isn't just a standard font. It's Lato, which is Lato, but then I put a 200% letter spacing between all of our wording because it makes it look classy, it makes it look more expensive.
I have something really important to say, and Maddie, I know you're going to have something equally important to say. If you have a look at our Empress Athleticus font, I didn't realise this, but
neither did I.
Told me about this, and have a look at this. It's really important. So if you look at Empress, Empress, the first S is different to the second S because Brittany pointed out to us how intelligent.
It's so intelligent.
It's such an intelligent font.
I would never have
noticed how intelligent the font is, but now it's like the smartest font ever. It knows to make one S different to the second S.
The slight differences that make it super intelligent. I fucking hate you. I spent all this time like strategizing and like coming up with the perfect fonts, and I'm like, okay, what do you think? They're like, okay, it's a cursive font.
Yeah, that's so intelligent. So we have been hanging out on Bane for the last months now about this super intelligent
font. Pretty sure it was April, so that's on us. We're bad people.
Really. But yeah, it's really important to understand who your target market is and start researching. And this is all available. Like all of this information, I didn't go to school. I think that's the thing that people always get confused by. I didn't go to university to study marketing. I went to university to actually study art. And then I realized that I didn't want to be a curator. So I decided to I worked for my parents. And they were setting up a new business. So I started, trying to help them with some ideas. And then I just started to just go deep in regards to research. TikTok is absolutely fantastic for research.
And highly reliable.
Yeah. Super reliable, it is. YouTube is another good one. There's just so many platforms out there that just can give you so much information. Obviously, take everything with a grain of salt, especially if you're doing like a massive research, but just take little elements from everything and make it your own. I think is super important. Okay, so I think the other question that you had with this was...
I
want some examples from our host, if our host is able to give us some examples, because that might be, because it's fine for us to say, oh look, for Empress Athleticus we do blah.
Oh, like give them some ideas.
Okay, so, ideas, host.
How would you market something to, say, elderly people? Or if your product was something that was, like you said earlier, like super specific to people that needed nipple cream, like where would you find
I want an actual product, Maddie.
Yeah,
like advertise this for them. How would you sell it?
How would you? Okay, no, okay, so this is something that we've just bought for my pup. He is like 83 and he just got one of those lanyard things that has like a little emergency button where like if he has a fall or he needs assistance and there's nobody around, he can press it and it calls my grandma, it calls me, it calls the police, it calls the ambulance.
Okay, that's a good one.
How would you market that?
No problem. And while I'm marketing this one, come up with another one for me, like a quick product that I can do. That's your challenge, host over there. Alright, so that one is actually a great one. So your target market is men and women between the ages of, I'm going to say 65 to 90.
And other people may buy that, but that's the target.
Yeah. And also too, the other one is maybe, I say 65, maybe you could even go to 45 because you're looking for children that will be buying this for their parents. Yeah,
true.
That's another good one.
I would not have thought of that.
Yeah, so maybe let's say 45 and I'm going to go up to 80. So that's our little bracket that we're going to work for, men and women. So now,
where are these people?
So we're going to go to the older audience. They're obviously not on Facebook.
TikTok. They're
We
all
do.
on TikTok.
all on TikTok.
We do have that small audience that's between 45 to about 55 that is still on Facebook, but let's focus on the older part. So the older part is obviously they're at home, they're retired, they're
watch
watching
TV.
daytime television. Daytime television would be my place that I would be putting my budget into because that's where they are. That's where they are. So another one is too, newspapers.
What about catalogs that you get in the letterbox?
Yeah, read catalogs, Take 5 magazines. Like there's so many things. You just got to think, okay, well, what are these people
Women's
on?
Weekly.
Yeah, and you start
Seniors
advertising for
magazine.
those ones. You guys seen
Yeah, there's like a seniors newspaper thing.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So then once you start targeting those areas, another great one, I would then go to retirement villages, and I would start going to them as a sale person and going, hey, we have this product, is this something that would be an offer? So retirement places, old people homes, and even also too, there's these places like Blue Care, places that they come to your house, nurses come to your house, because they actually obviously have tons of different brands that they use all the time. Getting in with those kind of places would be a great one.
Cool.
I can sell anything.
Well done. And what do we do for the people with the children? So the children that are buying for mum and dad, do you still go out to Facebook for those 45 to
So with the
60-year-olds?
45 to 55, yes, 100% you could target them on Facebook, and you would just target it differently. So you wouldn't have the same ads you would have on TV where you're like, oh, did you have a fall and you don't have someone to help you? You know what I'm talking about. You obviously wouldn't do that. It'd be a situation of,
Do you have a
are you
parent
really
that-
worried
or-
about
yeah.
your mum and dad? Do you need need a better sense of security to know that they're okay? This is a perfect product for you. Help them out. You know what I mean? You just like different ways of marketing in different areas, and that's a massive thing too. I think people just go, I'm going to do this campaign and I'm going to put it on all social media platforms, the same content.
They're not there.
It's really important to do different things for different social media
like
accounts.
demographics too.
Well, even just accounts. So for instance, what I'd post on TikTok would be different to what I'd post on Facebook. Because what I'm posting on Facebook, people like to sit there and watch talking videos and stuff like that. Where on TikTok, it's under a minute and you want to keep it, or even those 15-second transitions or outfits or stuff like that. Like people are on there for different reasons.
What's your next product, Hope?
My next product is going to be bento box style lunch boxes.
Your favorite.
Kristy's like, it's me. Just target to me.
Where am I?
So bento boxes, and this is actually might be a little bit controversial. This might be a little bit controversial, but I wouldn't target men. And I know.
I wouldn't target men either.
No, but there's a lot of stay-at-home dads and stuff
Oh,
that
that's
obviously that might be interested in product, but their
Keep in
buying
mind,
habits.
we're not saying men don't buy them.
No,
It's just we're not
going to waste
targeting
our money on them.
men.
Because I think with the
That's a bit
difference
harsh.
Really harsh way to phrase that.
is a situation of like if you've only got a certain amount of budget, you want to make sure that you're getting a specific audience. So again, I would be targeting. I would go a little higher than 25. No, maybe I'll keep on 25. I'll go to 25 to 45. That would be my target market. You might even get like the grandmas on the other end of the 45, like new grandmas.
So you're targeting mums.
You're
basically.
targeting
You're targeting
mums. And the reason you would target women over men, not saying that men wouldn't buy your product, it's just that women have a very different buying habit. So guys, for instance, go, a lunchbox is a lunchbox. Where women go, but this lunchbox is so much better because
And
this
I would
person's
spend
able to
anything on my child, and I'd spend anything on my animals. That's another one as well.
It's just a different emotion that happens with marketing. So how I would target to men would be very different to how I would target with women. Women is all based on emotion and having a why as to why they need this product. Where men are kind of in a situation of if it's cool and at a good price point and they need it, they'll buy it. Like essentials, they'll buy essentials. Where women will buy things that are non-essential.
I need
items.
her name on it with the rainbow. That was essential.
Like a bento box isn't an essential.
Yes.
A lunchbox would do a job, or a container would do the job. But a bento box, it's having that reason why, and it's easier to kind of target.
Well, there's
them.
those little compartments, and they're really important.
And then you can chop up the strawberries and they can have their strawberries with their bikkies.
One that would be a really good place to market that product is obviously Facebook, yes, but TikTok
Mm.
because organization TikTok is going mental. People
It's
literally
so
love
calming
people.
to watch
yeah.
that, isn't it?
Yeah, they love people stacking things up and putting things in lunch boxes and stuff like that. So even giving them to mummy TikTokers or mummy Instagrammers, that current like influencer marketing is an absolutely fantastic one because people love to see the product and they go, oh, I want to get that for my kid too. Like seeing it in the news and then wanting to actually take it in purchase.
But I was just thinking before we finish up, maybe we could go through Facebook groups. Would you suggest Facebook groups for the bento box thing?
Yeah, Facebook groups are a great place. Even we have we go into a few Facebook. You love a good Facebook.
You do love a good Facebook.
Facebook groups you remember of or something?
Yeah, it could be a bit more than that. I think it's 204.
I've got like 5.
Yeah. Even the ones that I'm on, I've muted.
No, I love a good Facebook group. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just my age group, but yeah, if you're targeting people in my age group.
But that's another
where I
one
am.
too. Even with those Facebook groups and stuff like that, like you're not really allowed to advertise your product, but people are allowed to say, oh, look at this thing I purchased, look at this thing I'm using, look at this thing I got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So targeting people who are even big in groups and, mummy TikTokers and mummy Instagrammers, because they're always in those, mummy advice and stuff like that on Facebook groups and stuff.
Yeah.
So it'd be a different thing for between the little emergency button. You wouldn't go out and give those to people and be like, hey, influence people into buying them, but you would do that for the bento box.
Yep.
And even things like just with those groups, like I'm in a couple of lawyer groups, like Lawyer Mums Australia, is one of the groups that I'm in. And we would talk about things like bento boxes or vacuums or whatever. It doesn't all have to be legal. So sometimes there are those Facebook groups and, I'm not selling bento boxes, but people definitely talk about them.
Oh yeah,
in there.
100%.
So it's
they
just
would.
trying to work out who buys those things and
Yeah. So the biggest thing is work out who your target audience is and then how the hell are you going to sell to them. Once
Where
you
are
figure
they?
out, where are they? How are you actually going to market to them? Everything in between is going to be based on those people. And sometimes too, you're not even selling a product that's for you, if that makes sense.
like the nipple cream.
Well, the nipple cream or the emergency stop lanyard, like that's not a product that I need. So I have to take myself out of that situation and go, okay, well, I don't need it, but who will? Okay, how do I target them? What kind of branding do they want? Colors, aesthetics, emotions, everything that goes into understanding your customer. So it's a really big one. It's a really big, it's really important, guys. I need you to really take this seriously.
Thank you for joining us this week for Straighten Your Crown. We will see you next time.
See ya.
Oh,